A new roundabout is coming to Southeast Columbus. Starting next week, right here along St. Mary's Road, down the street from North Star Drive, traffic is going to be detoured for about 6 months. It's meant to help the flow of traffic.
Roundabouts are what we're now using at locations that are marginal for warranting a signal, and they are much more efficient than traffic signals. When traffic is lighter, the traffic can continue to flow.
And add value to the area.
It's an amenity to the neighborhood, if you will, with the added landscaping and all the things that go in with a roundabout. And you don't have the overhead wires hanging and traffic signals and the added lighting from the signals, and becomes an entrance point for neighborhoods.
But not everyone is happy about the inconvenience and don't know how it's going to work.
I'm not too happy about it. It seems like it's just going to cause more issues than it's already causing.
There's only one way in and out on this street, so a 6-month project is a very long time. For people getting to work, all the military that lives out here and everything, is going to put everybody in a jam.
Right now, the workers behind me are currently rerouting the utilities. Next week, they'll be bringing in the big machines to start the actual roundabout project.
People are going to have to find more ways to get to where they're going to be.
So make sure you get up earlier so that you're well prepared for the potential added travel time to work or school. For WLTZ First News, I'm Paris Holmes.
Here's my bed bugs, let me have your bed bugs.
Don't let the bed bugs bite. It's an old saying, but definitely not an old problem.
There's been a problem for years and years. It just gets worse. It's almost every apartment now has something wrong with it.
Carol Rouse and many other residents of Columbus Gardens Apartment says the building is infested with bed bugs.
There's some bed bugs that have been coming out of the plugs. I've even seen bed bugs come out of the wall, brick wall.
Carol says management is not doing enough.
They send somebody out that comes out once a month and takes care of the roach problem. And then they come out and they'll do one treatment, then they'll turn around and tell you 2 to 3 weeks later we're coming back. That time comes and they don't show up, it's like it makes the problem multiply.
Residents have been told to get rid of their furniture, but they don't want to.
I talked to the office about it, and they said in order to get it taken care of, that I had to move all my stuff out. And I didn't agree to do that because I don't think it's fair.
Former resident Catherine Perry says she had to move out because the problem was so bad.
And after a while, I just couldn't stay there because they was all in my apartment everywhere. I lost everything. I couldn't take nothing with me, not anything.
Most of the residents told me they're afraid to speak on camera, afraid they'll be harassed or kicked out. But some residents did band together to complain.
And this is what we got.
Later, I attempted to speak to the manager. Mrs. Hartsfield? After repeated attempts to speak to her, I didn't get a response. Residents did confirm that she was in there. For WLTZ First News, I'm Paris Holmes.
This was an outstanding job by our detectives. They really put all the pieces together.
Top-notch detective work. That's what it took for detectives Barry Davis and Donna Baker of the Columbus Police Department to connect 31-year-old Charles Johnson to a string of burglaries in South Columbus.
The suspect was gaining entry through the roofs, therefore avoiding some of the initial alarm activations.
Police say Johnson broke into 4 different locations before being arrested at the Wild Bills on Buena Vista Road. They say he also robbed the corner store on Dawson Street twice, La Mexicana on Victory Drive, and the Handy Mart on Casita Road.
He was on foot. He lived in the local area and would basically travel around, and that's why he would take small amounts from the businesses.
Police say Johnson primarily stole cigarettes, possibly for resale, and small amounts of cash. Detectives Davis and Baker recognized the similarities between each burglary.
And utilizing video from the businesses with some video enhancement, they were able to positively identify him.
Thanks to some very observant officers and persistent police work, Johnson confessed to all the robberies. For WLTZ First News, I'm Paris Holmes. At today's City Council meeting, Chaplain Paul Voorhees spoke fondly of his childhood in South Columbus.
I grew up out here, and I remember when things were different. In fact, the first time I saw a major crime, I was grown.
But it's not the same place.
But today we have a problem with children. They're basically children. and they're being taught by adults who are teaching them how to be a criminal.
The general manager of Columbus Inn says his business is suffering too.
We've ran into numerous problems as far as prostitution, drug-related problems, theft problems, and most of it originates from the trailer park that is actually behind our business.
According to Chaplain Voorhees and Mr. Grayson of Columbus Inn, this area houses dilapidated mobile homes that they say is the source of many of the problems plaguing this area.
There are some good people that live back here. It's not everybody, but this has become a center. All you got to do is look at police reports and talk to the police of criminal activity, drugs, prostitution that come out of here. This is their nest. And they go up and bother the businesses and the people here along Victory Drive.
Columbus Inn has shut down one of its buildings in order to protect its employees and customers, but it's costing them as much as $30,000 a month.
The solution is to rezone it and make it more of a desirable neighborhood. What happens in a neighborhood is pride and ownership. When you have pride and ownership, people take care of the neighborhood, and pretty much the bad people don't like to live there.
For WLTZ First News, I'm Paris Holmes.